Hello and welcome to the Mastery Transcript Consortium Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. Each will have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but will be around for the entire session to answer any questions you may have. My name is Jenny and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. However, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/mastery. I'd now like to turn it over to our first school, Claremont McKenna College.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maureen. I am a Senior Associate Dean of Admission at Claremont McKenna. And in the chat, I just dropped my personal information and a link to just application instructions. But today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Claremont McKenna. And when I do that, I always like to start by zooming out a bit and letting you know where we are located in case you're not as familiar. We are in Southern California, about 35 miles east of downtown LA. It's a really great location because we have the heart of the city about an hour away, but also an hour away, you'll find the ocean, the desert, the mountains. So whether you are a city person, an outdoorsy person, you want to become one of these people, there's so many great things to do outside of our city and of our town. The really exciting stuff in Claremont, though, is what's happening within this system of colleges, the Claremont colleges that we're a part of. We're part of this consortium of schools, just 5 small liberal arts colleges that were built right across the street from each other intentionally. So we can still offer you all the benefits that come from going to a small school, but with a lot more shared resources, all of the official stuff that we share. Some examples of those are listed on your screen. You also get the opportunity to take classes across campus lines. You get to eat meals at other dining halls. You get to participate in clubs and events across the 5 Cs for sure. It's a really great system because we give you a little bit of that cliched word phrase of the best of both worlds. Specifically at CMC, you're going to find about 1,300 students. We're very residential with most of our students living on campus for all 4 years. You have access not just to our dining hall, as I mentioned, but the 6 other dining halls across the 5 Cs, not just our clubs, but the shared clubs, as I mentioned. We also share athletics in an interesting way because we share with Scripps and Harvey Mudd. And so we have a really strong Division III athletics varsity team, as well as intramural club sports and recreation options. When it comes to learning in the classroom, what you'll find is that our classes are split along those 3 areas that you see in the bottom left. So we give you breadth of study with general education, depth of study with your major, which requires a research thesis that you have to do on your own with the guidance of a professor. And then you also have electives that you can use to pursue a sequence, kind of like a minor, or to just take fun classes, or pursue a second major, which about 1/3 of our students will do. Something that is typical in all CMC classes is our focus on practical application and discussion. We also have a lot of support, academic, non-academic, to make sure that our students are able to make the most of their time, both in and out of the classroom. And as you can see, this spans different axes. Something that we do really, really well are the many ways that we support our students learning outside the classroom. So all of our students get to do research as part of their thesis, but about 80% of our students will do research beyond that in our many, many research labs across all of our academic departments, but also our 11 research institutes, which are exploring broader interdisciplinary topics. You can go abroad. We have upwards of 40 countries, upwards of 110 programs. We also have 2-semester programs here domestically, which are based around an internship. So you get to do an internship during the day, and then in the evenings, you take a couple of courses. In addition to this, we do have about 95% of our students that will do an internship. About 50% of our students will do multiple internships. So we really try to make it easy for you to see how what you're learning in the classroom applies to the real world and that you get to experience that hands-on. One of the ways that we support our students for internships and these opportunities is through our Soul Center, kind of like our career services office. They will do so many things. For example, fund students that secure unpaid or underpaid internships during their first couple of summers, perhaps. They have a staff member that works exclusively with first-year students, so they know that these opportunities are available to them and how to achieve them, even as they're wrapping their first year. And they split the rest of their staff among 8 interest clusters that give you information about about additional alumni interactions, employer engagement based on your post-grad interests. In addition to that, we care a lot about leadership, and we give you a lot of opportunities to step into leadership, to study leadership, research it. We also allow you to engage directly with field experts and field leaders that come to our campus as part of our Athenaeum. These are experts in their field that come to talk about current topics every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that school is in session. So it's a great opportunity for you to listen from an expert on a topic you're interested in, or hear from someone that you admire, have them answer your questions. All of these programs include a dinner, a free dinner for students. And if you're one of the first 7 students to register, you get to sit at the head table and share the meal with the speaker before they do their presentation. Those are some key things to know about CMC and the experience here. So briefly about admission and financial aid, you will find all of our deadlines on our website. I shared that link before with all of our application instructions. We do have 2 rounds of early decision, ED1 and ED2, no difference, just the date. As far as key things to know, we continue to be test optional this year. Next year, we're still waiting and we'll make a decision in the winter. We also recommend that students either get a chance to interview or submit an admission video alongside with their application. It really adds a personal touch to your application. We meet 100% of demonstrated need for all students admitted, and we get to be need blind for domestic students, meaning that if you have a lot of need, very little need, that doesn't play a role in your chances for admission. Overall, we're looking for students that want to apply a practical lens to liberal arts and also are really interested in this idea of responsible leadership. So keeping both impact and intention of what you're studying, what you want to do in the future front of mind. That's a little bit about us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And a reminder for our participants to use that Q&A function if you have questions during their presentations. Up next, we have Goucher College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Steely, and I am one of the admissions counselors at Goucher College. So Goucher is located just outside of Baltimore, Maryland, in a town called Towson. So really access to the major metropolitan areas on the East Coast, Baltimore specifically, but still a traditional campus experience. And we are a small liberal arts college located on a 287-acre campus, so tons of green space despite being so close to a major city. We're a small school with about 1,100 undergraduate students, as well as about 900 graduate students, although they are primarily doing online programs. So on campus, the focus really is on that undergraduate student experience. And with this, we're also really focused on small class sizes. So we have an average class size of about 16 on an 11-to-1 student-faculty ratio. Every class is taught by your professors. You get to know your professors really well, and almost all of our classes are going to be discussion-based too. In terms of our student body, we are seeing students from 44 states and 29 different countries. About 8% of our students are international students, 45% of our students are students of color, 30% are first-generation college students, so the first in their family to attend college, and just over a quarter of our students are student athletes. In terms of our curriculum, it looks a little bit different from some schools and is really based in interdisciplinary learning. So this begins with your first year seminar. So with this, it is taught as if it were an upper level senior seminar course in your very first semester, focused on critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, and includes classes such as Where the Wild Things Are, looking at the history of wilderness in the United States, a course on censorship and journalism, a forensics class, and even a class called The Secret Life of Puppets. You then take 2 complex problem exploration classes where you are looking at a complex world issue from a variety of backgrounds. And so you'll have students from all different academic departments in those classes that are able to participate within those discussions. So we have a class called Disease and Discrimination. We have a class on the opioid crisis, one on water scarcity, and one on chocolate from an environmental and an economic standpoint. We also have 3 areas of proficiency that we ask that students meet. So both a general and a major specific data analytics course and a writing course, as well as gaining language proficiency. And then we have 2 institutional commitments on our campus. So race, power, and perspective and environmental sustainability, not specific classes that you'll take, but themes that you'll encounter all 4 years. In terms of majors, our most popular majors are psych, bio, business, international relations, and creative writing. And a good majority of our students do decide to double major or major and minor. And you have until the end of your sophomore year to declare. One of the biggest things to know about Goucher is that we require study abroad for all of our students. And the two main ways to do this is either a traditional semester abroad, enrolling directly into an international institution, or a 3-week intensive course abroad led by Goucher faculty and just Goucher students taking part in those. This can be related to a major, but it doesn't have to be, and everything is taught in English unless it's a language immersion. Those 3-week courses tend to be thematic or interdisciplinary. So a course in Cuba focused on business and Spanish to a sociology and culture course in Bali. If you do those full semesters, the cost of a semester abroad is the same as the cost of a semester on campus, and those 3-week courses tend to be about $5,000 with scholarships available. We also have integrated career education into all 4 years of the curriculum, starting in your first year with employer field trips and job shadowing, building a resume and a cover letter, to micro internships in your second year, so virtual short-term paid projects, and then a focus on full-scale internships junior and senior year. And this is where having Baltimore right in our backyard is a huge plus for our students. We also are really focused on support across campus. So we have this success team model that in your first year begins with your success advisor, your very first advisor on campus. They are connected to our Academic Center for Excellence, where all of our tutoring takes place, as well as a quantitative reasoning center and a writing center. You have a career advisor making sure that you're looking at those next steps and doing resume boot camps, and a first year mentor, so a peer mentor that works with you within your first semester. We are a fully residential campus. Housing is guaranteed and for the most part required on campus all 4 years. And all of our first year students live together within the first year village. We also have a really great dining hall right on campus, as well as a grab and go student market. Over 35 different clubs and student organizations, everything from academic-based clubs, culture clubs, performance-based clubs, and even a seltzer club that recently was started. We have 15 different affinity groups, all under CRE, which is our Center for Race, Equity, and Identity, and then our student engagement team that holds events throughout the year, open mic nights, movie nights, and larger events like our big student carnival gig. We also have Division III athletic teams that just over a quarter of our students take part in, as well as an IHSA equestrian team, and our stables are located right on campus. In terms of the application process, we are on the Common App. We have no application fee, and we have been test optional since 2006, so well before it was the norm. There's nothing additional that you need to do if you choose not to send your test scores. We have 2 deadlines, November 15th and January 15th, and every single admitted student automatically receives merit scholarships. So thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Up next, we have Eastern Washington University.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate you taking some time out of your evening. My name is Jennifer, and I'm here to talk a little bit about Eastern Washington University. What you're looking at right now is the online lookbook. So if you want to grab this URL for future reference, you can do so, because I obviously won't be able to cover everything that's in it tonight. So just to give you a quick overview, if you don't know anything about EWU, is we are the region's polytechnic university, which basically means that we have hands-on experiential learning and research opportunities in all of our programs. We're located in Cheney, Washington, which is a small college town just outside of the state's second largest city of Spokane. In terms of size of the university, we're a medium-sized university with about 10,000 total students. And I always like to put a shout out to our 2,000 total squirrels that we have as well. Our campus stretches out over 300 acres, which basically means we're about, probably like 5 to 6 blocks squared, and you can reach one end of the campus to the other in about 10 minutes or so. And something that really sets us apart is our commitment to community and making sure that our students are going to be successful. And we do this through, like others have talked about, the small classroom sizes, but we also do this through hands-on learning, internships, and those research opportunities that I mentioned before. And you'll find that both your professors and the administrators that you speak with and work with are really invested in making sure that you're going to be successful in the classroom as well as outside of the classroom, and then obviously even beyond graduation. In terms of our programs, we have over 100 programs for you to explore. So depending on what you're interested in, we're likely going to have something for you. But I wanted to highlight a couple of special programs. We have a really unique forensic science major, and that's because we are located right across the street from our Washington State Patrol Crime Lab. And that basically means that students have access to people who are real forensic scientists who know what they're doing, and you'll get the opportunity to work on real forensics for real crimes and get your hands a little bit dirty. And this is really the case for a lot of our health-related majors, where, for example, we have one of the only bachelor's programs in the state that allows undergraduate students to work on real human cadavers. I also wanted to highlight our cyber operations and cybersecurity programs, whose internship is basically providing cybersecurity and cyber ops for small communities around the area. So they're actually doing real work. And those students actually took first place in the cyber games that took place in Florida last year, beating out teams from all over the US. So pretty cool. In terms of community, again, there's going to be lots of ways for you to get involved on campus. So we're a Division I school, so if sports is your thing, then that's we're a good choice for you. We have, a number of sororities and fraternities on campus. We have clubs and orgs, just like many other schools. But in addition to those clubs and orgs that we have an award-winning recreation center. We have an ice rink, a climbing wall. We have a great outdoor program where students can go snowshoeing, they can go dog sledding. So there's a lot of options and lots of ways to really meet friends and people who are into the same things as you. In terms of location, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but we are a small college town and we're right next door to the second largest city of the state, which is Spokane, which you can see here. But the great thing too is we're the same distance away from the city. You can also get to a one of the dozens of local lakes that we have around the area, as well as hiking trails. That's one thing I really love about this region is the same distance I can take to get to my favorite trailhead. I can also be driving over to my favorite coffee shop. So it really kind of depends on what you're interested in. In terms of cost, I wanted to highlight that because I know it's important for you. In terms of Washington State schools for in-state students, we are the most affordable of the Washington State public universities. So if you're looking for someplace that's affordable and you're in Washington State, we're definitely a great option. And for out-of-state students, we have a fantastic scholarship program. It's a $15,000 scholarship if you're residing in one of these states. And it's really easy to get. You only have to be admitted, and it's as easy as that. In terms of applying for mastery-based transcripts, you will submit the same materials as anybody else, and all that is an application fee, and your transcripts. We don't require test scores, essays, anything like that, and we have rolling admission. And so I just wanted to point out that if you're interested in visiting, please do so. Be brave, come and explore if you're in Washington State, or contact us if you'd like to learn more. And that's it for me. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. And remember, you can use that Q&A function if you have questions for any of our presenters during this time. Please feel free to go ahead and ask them, and I'll get back to you. Up next, we have Arizona State University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bailey Hayes. I am the Assistant Director of Non-Resident Recruitment Initiatives. I primarily work with our first-year population coming to ASU for their first year of studies at the collegiate level. And I am happy to answer any questions you guys have in the chat, so don't hesitate to drop those into the Q&A. We are what we consider ourselves a new American university. What this means is we're really trying to break down the walls of a traditional higher ed experience, and in that bring on a new way of learning. We do measure our success not by the number of students who we exclude, but rather the number of students who we're able to include, and then how those students are able to succeed. And I think ASU is doing a really good job of showing that you can be a large, inclusive institution and really provide students with a unique and great experience at the university level. We are one of the largest public research institutions in the country. We have managed to tack down some really awesome rankings, some of which you're seeing on the board right now. One of the ones that we love to share with everyone is that we are #1 in innovation. This is the 9th year in a row we have been #1 in innovation. Innovation for us is we are very forward thinking, we are technology driven, we are truly looking at tomorrow's world, developing new majors every day based on, what type of career opportunities our students are going to see, really creating lifelong learners, as most of those careers haven't even been developed yet. The image you guys are seeing right now is one of our new learning spaces. It's called Dreamscape. It's a virtual reality classroom where students go in, they put on their VR headsets, and they step into another world. This image specifically is from our Bio 101 course. So we do have 4 different campuses in the Phoenix metropolitan area. The Phoenix metro itself is the 5th largest metro in the United States. Across the campus are different locations. When you think of ASU, you're probably thinking of the Tempe campus, and I'll definitely touch base on each of the different campus locations. But kind of the way it works is when you apply to ASU, you will select a major, and much of which campus you're based on is based on the major that you're selecting. What's nice is it's just one application and it will grant you access to all locations. However, you do have the ability to take courses on multiple locations or just utilize the resources on all the different locations. However, you don't ever have to leave your campus if you don't want to. So everything you would need would be available on your campus, your libraries, your residential halls, every single class from your first year all the way through to your senior year. The Phoenix Metro is full of different things. We have every Fortune 500 company headquartered in the state of Arizona, residing right there in the Tempe, Scottsdale, Phoenix Metro. We have over 50 hospitals and 10 different trauma centers. We have the Mayo Clinic. So there's lots of great internship opportunities, no matter what students are looking to do at the undergraduate level. These are our different campus locations. Like I mentioned, when you think ASU, you're probably thinking Tempe. That campus has about 58,000 students, wide variety of programs available on the Tempe campus. It's also where our performing arts facilities are, as well as our Sun Devil athletic complexes. Certainly things students from all campuses can participate in. Next, we have the West Valley campus, which is located out in the western part of Phoenix. It is going to give students kind of like a small liberal arts type feeling, which I know when you're thinking ASU, you don't necessarily associate that with being small liberal arts, but that is an opportunity for students as well. We also have a campus on our downtown Phoenix location. It's going to be home to majors with a public purpose. Think nursing, journalism, criminal justice, those types of majors. And then finally, we have our Polytechnic campus, which is out in East Mesa. It is going to be home to majors that have a hands-on project-based learning component. Right now, we do offer about 400 different majors. So there's lots of different things that you can study at the university. We also have 18 different academic colleges. We do have a set of assured admission requirements, meaning any student who meets the requirements you see listed there right now is guaranteed admission to the university. If you're a first-year student, we're looking for the completion of your 16 core courses in high school with at least a 3.0 core unweighted GPA. We are test optional, have always been test optional, and will continue to be test optional as well. We have an application on our website. We're also on the Common App. We are on rolling admission, so no hard deadlines for us, though we do encourage students to apply by November 1st of their senior year to hit that priority filing date. There's lots of ways you can customize your experience once you have applied to ASU and once you are a student at the university. One way to consider customizing your experience is by applying to our honors college, which is Barrett, recently named the golden standard of honors colleges by the New York Times. It's really going to provide students with an Ivy League experience, but in the middle of a major public research institution. So it's kind of like having the best of both worlds. We also have about 1,200 different clubs and organizations, everything from social-based to academic-based. We have Greek life, we have intramurals. So however you want to stay engaged and connected with the types of students that are interested in similar things as you, there's definitely ways you can do that. We also house our students in a residential college model, which is one way that we're able to take what's big ASU and make it immediately feel a lot smaller. So you'll live with other students who are in your same academic college. You do have a personal admissions rep who works with students coming from the state that you live in. You can scan the QR code, and I'll drop this into the chat as well. But if you ever want to connect with us, we would love to set up a one-on-one chat with you, or we can visit through phone, Zoom, or by email. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we do have time for that Q&A. It's still open if you do have any questions. Up next, we have Carroll University.
Awesome. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Steele. I am the Assistant Director of Admission at Carroll University. We're actually located right outside of Cleveland, Ohio in University Heights. So we're roughly about 9 minutes away from downtown Cleveland. We are a Jesuit Catholic college. So we are actually one of 27 Jesuit Catholic colleges in the country. So one thing I want to mention is that our mission identity is, although we're a Jesuit Catholic college, you don't have to be Catholic to attend John Carroll, of course. But a big piece of our identity is that we're really strong on community service. We have students that actually feed the homeless in downtown Cleveland every single Friday night. We have a medical brigade in Honduras where students are setting up tents. They're giving out medical aid, food, clothing to families in Honduras. And that trip is actually paid for through our campus ministry. And these are our three pillars. So the first one is academic rigor. Pretty much you're going to get a really strong, good education here at John Carroll. We have roughly about 2,800 students on campus. So we don't have a very large university, but pretty decent amount of students. Average class size is going to be about 14-1. So with that, you'll get a better one-on-one with your professor. And typically students tend to thrive in those kind of smaller atmospheres. The second pillar is experiential learning. So we do believe in not just learning inside the classroom, but outside the classroom as far as internships or study abroad opportunities. And the third pillar is going to be personal formation. So it's our hope that after you are attending John Carroll, you've got a good education, you've been inside and outside the classroom, that we develop you not just as a student, but as a young adult as well. So when you are going back into your communities, you're giving back, whether that's 15, 20 years from now, we encourage our students to be good citizens of their communities. All right, and here is, on top of being a Jesuit Catholic college, we are liberal arts as well. And what that pretty much means is you're going to get a well-rounded education, and you will get out your comfort zone just a little bit, right? So students are required to take one religious study class as well as one foreign language. These companies that you guys see here on the screen, these are just some companies that some of our students are currently working at in the past 5 to 10 years. We do have 43 alumni that are currently working in the field right now. We have students that work at NBC. Tim Russert, who run the show called Meet the Press on NBC, is an alumni of John Carroll. And because of that, one student gets the opportunity, no matter what major, to intern at NBC. And these are a couple of renovations that we currently have. So currently our nursing program is new. We just got it in 2022. So we just put a new simulation lab. We have mannequins that can stop breathing. They can give birth. You can check their vitals, and their skin feels very lifelike. So they kind of prepare our students for the actual preparation of dealing with an actual patient. The next renovation is we do have a new field house being built. It's actually not going to be ready until this winter, but it was supposed to be ready this fall, but it kind of got pushed back. But our new field house is going to have new classrooms for our exercise science majors. It's going to have new basketball courts, new indoor track as well. We're actually building a tunnel from our student center to this new facility, which would be pretty awesome. Next, we have our residence halls. All of our residence halls just got updated in 2023. We just put new furniture, new paint, and new carpet down on the ground as well. And all of our residence halls now have air conditioning, which is pretty cool. Currently, our library is on a round 2 renovation, so we're kind of getting rid of that old school feel of a library. So we're looking at more monitors, more computers. There is a tutoring service in there as well. So if students need assistance with a paper presentation, that will be available for you as well at no cost for current students. For us athletics, we are a Division III 24 varsity sports. Women's wrestling is our newest sport. We currently compete in the OSC, but we are actually leaving the OSC and we'll be joining the NCAC as of 2025. And as far as applying to John Carroll, we are only on the Common App. We do require one essay. You do have to submit your high school transcript. We do not have a GPA requirement. and we are test optional. So it's up to the student if they want to submit their transcripts or not. I'm not transcript, I'm sorry, your test scores or not. And also, we do require one letter recommendation, so it can be guidance counselor, teacher, whoever that pretty much knows you inside the classroom or outside the classroom. And that is it. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our institutions here tonight. We have time for some Q&A, so I'll ask that everyone comes back on the screen, and we'll get started with our Q&A for the evening. All right, so our first question for the evening is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? We know you see students day in and day out, so what advice would you like them to know? We'll go in the same order, starting with Claremont McKenna College.
Sure. Hi. I think a big part of those college search process is about self-discovery also. And I think sometimes students come in thinking, oh, this is the kind of school that I like, or this is the kind of student that I am. And as they're going through the search, they start being drawn to other things. And sometimes that can be kind of scary. So if that's kind of where you're at, just know that that's normal and expected and part of this very personal process.
So I think my piece of advice would be to make sure that while you still take into consideration the thoughts and opinions of family members, friends, teachers, all of that, recognize that it is the place that you will be spending the next, 4 years of your life. So it ultimately should be a place that you are excited about and feel comfortable attending.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I would suggest is if you have the means and are able to actually go and be on the campus and visit the campus or visit the colleges that you're thinking about, that truly is going to be the best way for you to know whether or not that place is a good fit for you, because you might have this like college in mind or university in mind that is like your dream place, and you get there and it's just not, you're not vibing with it. So I would recommend, if you can and you have the means, to go visit.
It's hard not going first when other people have your same advice. I would say be open to exploring majors you maybe haven't considered yet. I know I mentioned we have about 400 majors, which there's lots of different things out there. And I know, especially for first year students, you kind of go with what's popular, right? Business, engineering, nursing, education, but there's so many other opportunities that might take you down a totally different pathway. So a little research beforehand and be open to trying some new things.
All right, it's hard going last. So I would definitely echo what everyone else is saying, but most importantly, make sure you guys visit campus. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure you get boots on the ground, visit the campus. If you can do more than one visit, sometimes it takes more than once. I know at John Carroll, we do personal visits. So, and I think a lot of universities offer that as well. So that may be something you can sit with a faculty member of a program you might be interested in to see if this is kind of like the best fit for you. But the best thing I can say is do not go to a university that you have never visited.
I also like to add a little bit of advice in here from doing many of these fairs, is also to just stay organized. You heard from different colleges and universities tonight that have different dates and deadlines, different programs, priority deadlines, scholarship deadlines. So I would just say to try to keep organized as best as possible. If that's like an Excel spreadsheet that you share, with your family, or a shared calendar, but also importantly, a dedicated professional sounding email that you have, that you can check. And so you're not going to miss a priority deadline with all of your like Sephora coupons or whatever coming in. So make sure that you just stay organized, because there's so many things to remember in this, and you want a way to remember, oh yeah, which one, gave out a marching band scholarship, which one had this basketball team, so you have a way to keep things organized. All right. Our next question for the evening is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? I know we only had a very quick 6 minutes together, and students can check out the link in your in the chat for most of your colleges and universities. But what is one thing you want them to remember as we continue on? So we'll go in the same order.
Sure. I think when we are in our admissions committee or we're reviewing an applicant, sometimes we'll say, oh, this is a fantastic liberal arts college student, or this is definitely a psychology student, but we don't fully know why the student has to come or wants to come to CMC, right? And so I think for us, beyond just being a liberal arts college, is the fact that we care a lot about practical application and this focus on leadership. And it's kind of like that combination of these three things, which is kind of creates a space and the reason as to why we were founded.
So I think for Goucher, it really would be that study abroad requirement. You know, obviously, pretty much every college is going to offer it, but sometimes you really need to put the work in to make sure that you're doing that. So our athletes study abroad, and we make a point of that and really making this accessible for everyone. And so everyone is gaining that global experience.
Megan, I also want to attend your chocolate class and your puppet class, just saying. So for Eastern, I think if I just like had one word, it would definitely be community. Eastern really, no matter what program you're in, what your interests are, what your extracurricular activities are, you're going to find your people here. And again, that could be academically, that can be in terms of activities. You will find your people, and it really is like a big family, and it sounds super cheesy to say it, but that's definitely what it is, community and family.
I would say for ASU, it's that we are just trying to break down the walls of a traditional higher ed experience. There's no two students who are going to have the same experience, and you really have the ability to create kind of the undergraduate experience that you're wanting.
So I'll say for John Carroll, we have something called Tower Time on campus where everyone on campus, students, faculty, staff, once a week, we actually meet in a central location. We have coffee, tea, and it builds a sense of community. We just have dialogue, right? And we just want to build that sense of community. And if you've never met your professor, or if you're a first year student and you want to meet a friend, we've had students that have met their best friends at Tower Time. We have students that have gotten job opportunities at Tower Time on campus. So that really is something that's unique about John Carroll, and it builds that sense of community, and a lot of students enjoy that, especially in that first year experience.
Great, thank you, everyone. We really appreciate that. And I did want to mention before we move on to our last question that we did have one school that couldn't make it with tonight, unfortunately, which is Southeast Missouri State University. So if you do have questions for their admissions counselors, please feel free to check out their website, and they should have that link there for you. So feel free. Everyone here is so friendly and really wants to help you out in the process. So if you reach out to them and let them know, we definitely miss them, but and if you want more information, you can reach out to them as well. All right, we have a few minutes for our last question. So it's, what is one myth you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process? So, especially with this group, with our Mastery Transcript group, that maybe have a little more non-traditional type transcript that you're looking at. Is there a certain like myth or, something that you'd like to debunk or talk about the college admissions process? We'll go in the same order as well.
Perfect. I think a myth is that optional is secretly required. I think students will many times see like, oh, they accept an additional letter recommendation, or they accept an additional interview, or they accept, the optional additional information section. And I think many students feel this pressure, like that's not really optional. Test scores are not really optional. Colleges will be honest with you, right? We're not in the business of trying to trick you. So if something is optional but recommended, our websites will say it, admission officers will tell you when you talk to them. And if something's actually required, we will let you know ahead of time.
So for me, it would be surrounding the essay. So I think oftentimes there's sort of this idea that you need to write about a certain topic, or, show off all that you've done and use these big words and make it sound as, polished and fancy as it needs to be. And what we are really wanting to see is who you are and what you're interested in, not what you think you want us to read. So, share your story, but share it in your own way.
I love those are both two great pieces of advice. One thing that I would add to that is don't be scared of the admissions advisor. They're not there just to like bring in the numbers, which is probably the myth I would like to try and debunk. Admissions advisors truly are there to help you and be transparent as possible. So if you're not sure, like if you're like what your academic history is saying and is going to be admissible, talk to your admissions advisor. They will be honest with you. They will tell you they will tell you insiders information compared to like what's on the website. So I would recommend just like utilizing your resources and using them as a tool.
Those are all really great pieces of advice. I would say, something I think I debunk every day for students is not all universities will accept letters of recommendation or essays in the application process. Some are just looking at your academic information, and that's all. So instead of stressing about essays and letters of rec for every school you might be applying for, chat with your admissions counselor and see if they're even required or if they'll even consider them when you're submitting them.
I would say don't feel that you're bothering us. Don't feel that you're getting on our nerves. We want you to ask the questions. We want you to let us know that you're having difficulty with something because we're here to help you, right? So if there is a situation with financial aid, the application process, please be on our radar because that can actually go a long way by building that relationship with you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. That's all been fantastic advice. And again, please, participants watching, reach out to all of these admission counselors. Like they're saying, they're here to help you and really want to, support you through this process. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you coming out and taking the time to learn more about these schools. And we do have more sessions right after this one with more fantastic schools, so please feel free to check the schedule and sign up for more sessions and join us. If you would like to watch this recording back or send it to a friend, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings from tonight at strivescan.com/mastery. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here, and best of luck on your college search process. Have a great evening.